आप थोड़ा सा आप लेफ्ट साइड में हो, आप थोड़े से लेफ्ट में हो, थोड़ा सा मीन्स यू शुड या नाउ इट्स मच बेटर, या इट्स परफेक्ट नाउ.
यार मुझे बता देना, एक्चुअली मैंने फोन से कनेक्ट किया तो थोड़ा सा मुझे आइडिया नहीं लग पा रहा है.
नो वरीज, नो वरीज.
ठीक है, इट्स गुड.
यस.
हाँ, ओके.
कोई आने वाले? Hey. Just let me know when I should start. Oh, okay. Welcome to the Knowledge Catalyst, a dynamic and diverse networking community that brings together students and professionals from the various backgrounds and industries. This is a platform where you maximize your learning potential with the power of networking, expert guides. We are the networking community where the opportunities and the knowledge meet to create endless possibilities. With over the 15,000 members, we are the dynamic and diverse group of the students from 70 plus colleges and backgrounds. Whether you're a session professional or just starting with your career, Catalyst Knowledge provides a space for the learning from others. Share your own experience and expand your horizon. Through our regular networking events, webinars, and online discussions, we foster a culture of learning. Join the Catalyst today and experience the power of networking and knowledge shared by the first hand. Before we dive into the topic and start the event, let me give you a quick overview and the agenda about today. We'll start with the keynote with our speaker, who will set a tune for the event and provide a big picture of code and decode, where we'll talk about the data structure and algorithm. We'll have the opportunity to dive deeper into the specific topic and engage with our further speaker. There's going to be a Q&A session, so if you have any burning question, you may ask. Without further ado, let me introduce to the keynote speaker, an incredible talented individual who have achieved a lot in short period. She is a software developer engineer level 2 at Walmart. It's hard to believe just 6 months ago she was an intern there. Not only she has the significant impact at the Walmart, but also she has also been a successful in cracking the many of off-campus interviews like BN Memelo, Lending Card, and many more. With over 120K followers on Twitter and LinkedIn, she has a strong presence on social media. She used this platform to share her knowledge and insight. She has taught many students from online and offline sessions and has been a valuable resource for them. It's worth mentioning she is it's worth mentioning that she was amongst top ranker in Walmart's hiring exam, which is tremendous for her technical ability.
Knowledge and share my learning experience with you regarding college studies, DS Algo, something about what happens in the company, something about how the times are going on and what one should do at such hard times, and many more things. So I'm targeting that we should have a very great session ahead. Over to you, Rahul.
Okay. Before that, we will start to talk about the DSA. And can you further explain what is actually the DSA?
Yeah. So basically, the term DSA is something which is very much hyped over the social media. Everyone says that if you want to crack off-campus job or intern opportunities as any of the company, you should be good with your DSA. If you want to excel your career in software engineering, you should be good with DSA. If you are in a company and you are given a problem and if you are able to solve it, you are a good problem solver. So DSA is something which is hyped over social media and हर जगह अभी DSA की ही बात होती है. Everyone thinks कि यार DSA हो गया तो we are able to crack any company. But let me give you a brief overview of what is DSA and how it helps. So basically, DSA stands for data structures and algorithms. And this is one of the most asked topics in interviews. Either it's been off-campus placement, on-campus placement, or it also helps when you are in a company. So DSA क्या होता है ना, data structures and algorithm. In day-to-day life, we used to deal with data. And there should be an algorithm on which basis we know that how to accumulate that data, how to separate that data, how to solve some problem when we are given some data and we have to solve some problem. So solving some real life problems DSA comes into picture. It helps a lot in solving any of the problems. So basically in data structure algorithm, there are many topics like arrays, binary search, graphs, trees, and much more. And majorly students get feared with the topics like graphs and trees. But to my consideration, the best way to start with DSA is just pick any of the one programming language, because see, if you know or if you have any of the command of any of one programming language, half of the DSA comes very easy. It becomes very easy. So if you have command on any one of the programming language, either it be C, C++, Java, Python, JavaScript as well, you can excel your career in DSA. So when you like, there are some steps which you should follow to get yourself a bit more comfortable with DSA, or to get yourself a bit more familiar with DSA. So firstly, start with any of the programming language of your choice. C, C++, Java, Python, or anyone. But C is something which I personally suggest, because it is a subject which also comes in our semester exams as well. So C is also something like, it is a very, we can say a basic language which we can start with. So after that, C++, Java, or Python would be a cakewalk. So you can start with C. If you want, you can also start with Python. There is no issue with that. But I would suggest just start with C. And then you can go ahead with C++, Java, or Python. Now, the second thing is, when you are starting to learn DSA, don't only just stick to one playlist on YouTube if you find. बहुत बार ऐसा क्या होता है कि we just stick to one of the playlist in YouTube. तो क्या होता है कि उसमें trees बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाया होता है, graphs बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाया होता है, but binary search उसका हमें समझ नहीं आता है. तो always be open to like, हमेशा ये रहो कि नहीं, मेरे को एक प्लेलिस्ट फॉलो नहीं करनी. अगर उस पर्टिकुलर प्लेलिस्ट से मेरे को उतना इंसाइट नहीं मिल पा रहा है, तो मैं दूसरी प्लेलिस्ट देखूंगा. सो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि अगर तुमने एक एंटायर प्लेलिस्ट देख ली तो यू विल बिकम अ मास्टर इन DSA. लाइक द फर्स्ट टाइम लर्निंग इज कि बस हम लोग एक ओवरव्यू ले रहे हैं कि क्या टॉपिक्स है, क्या क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, कैसे इन क्वेश्चंस को सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. बट एक बार लाइक इन वन गो, नो वन एवर लर्न्स DSA और नो वन एवर लर्न्स प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग. सो फर्स्टली स्टार्ट विथ सम बेसिक theoretical knowledge, because like people always motivates, or people always says that always solve problem, but you guys don't know that sometimes theoretical questions is also being asked in the interview. So that time you should also be aware ki kya ho raha hai, because see, if when you are aware ki what we are doing, then only you can do that particular work. So start with any of the playlist and start seeing some videos on that particular playlist, or like that particular topic. Choose a topic like array. I've chosen a topic array. So अब ऐसा भी होता है ना कि array के questions are infinite. There are tons of question on array, and if you start with array and just stick to array for 2 to 3 months, you would never be able to solve more and more. Like there is no end to problem solving, right? So एक topic पकड़ के अगर तुम सोचोगे कि उसमें master करूँ, that is a wrong notion. Always choose a topic, solve some 20 to 30 questions on that topic, like 10 to 15 easy question, 10 to 15 medium question, and 10 to 15 hard question, and then just skip to another topic. Because if you choose one topic and start solving problem on that topic only, your 1 to 2 months will be gone and you don't have that much of time. So just start with one topic, choose one topic, try to solve 10 to 15 questions, easy, medium, and hard from that particular topic, and just skip to another topic. Because see, there is no end to solving problems. There are tons of problems. If you open LeetCode, there are tons of problems you can solve. But try to solve some variety of problems. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपने एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया और दूसरा भी आप उसी टाइप का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हो, तो फिर वो प्रॉब्लम हमसे बन तो जाएगा, बट देयर वुडंट बी अ वैरायटी ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स व्हिच यू आर
Variety, yes.
So always try to solve some variety of problems from a particular topic, and topic by topic पढ़ना start करो. Don't always jump कि मतलब क्या होता है कि arrays से लोग start करते हो थोड़ा demotivate हो जाते हैं. उसका reason मैं बताती हूँ क्यों क्या होता है. तो basically हम लोग arrays के question solve करते हैं ना, तो कभी कभी उसमें binary trees के भी question आ जाते हैं, कभी कभी ऐसे भी questions आ जाते हैं जिसमें DP का approach लगेगा, और फिर हम सोचते हैं कि यार हमने arrays पढ़ा है, हमें तो DP आती नहीं, बहुत टफ है, छोड़ देते हैं. तो ये होता है, ठीक है. तो कोशिश करो that when you are starting at a very beginner level, अगर एरेज के क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो तो वैसे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो जो तुमसे सॉल्व हो जाए. जिन क्वेश्चन में किसी अदर टॉपिक्स के मतलब थ्योरी या कुछ भी कंसेप्ट इन्वॉल्व है, उन क्वेश्चंस को अभी के लिए छोड़ दो. वो टॉपिक्स या वो ये पढ़ लोगे उसके बाद उस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करना। तो इसीलिए यही एक रीजन होता है कि लोगों को डीएसए काफी टफ लगता है, बिकॉज क्या होता है कि हम लोग वैसे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं जो हमें आता ही नहीं है, जिस टॉपिक के बारे में हम लोग ज्यादा अवेयर ही नहीं है, और उसी के क्वेश्चन हम लोग सॉल्व करने लगते हैं। तो डोंट एवर ट्राई दिस। अगर कोई क्वेश्चन पढ़ के ऐसा लग रहा है कि ये टॉपिक और ये चीज अभी तुमने कवर नहीं किया, तो उस क्वेश्चन को स्किप कर दो, या तो उस क्वेश्चन को बुकमार्क करके रख लो कि जब मैं वो टॉपिक पढ़ लूंगा तब मैं इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करूंगा। तो दिस इज द थिंग। और उसके बाद क्या होता है ना कि इफ यू फॉलो दिस पर्टिकुलर पैटर्न ना, within 2 or 3 months you would be very well versed with DSA. I'm not saying that you would be an expert. I am also not saying that you would be a noob, but you would be at least a person who can sit and give interviews and know that what is the level of preparation you have done. So always follow this pattern in learning DSA, because don't ever stick to one topic and just waste 2 to 3 months. Because क्या होता है कि 2 to 3 months you give to one topic, then you switch to another topic, then you switch to another topic. In the third month, what you will find कि पहले वाली सारी चीजें I am forgotten, सब चीज भूल जाओगे। तो don't ever spend so much time on a given topic. Always try to solve some variety of problems, so that if any interview happens and if the question is not known to you, you can at least try to crack some logic for that question.
Yes, yes, exactly. And that was like one of the many may ask questions. Thank you for the wonderful explanation. And also, there is another very much asked questions from the students who are in college. Like, what are the effective projects they can build or projects they can do while they're in the college time?
Okay. So for this, Rahul, I would like to say that many students often do get feared with the fact, like I've seen many students who are so much into DSA that this is the 4th year and they haven't prepared any of the project. This is their 3rd year and they haven't prepared any of the project. So for that students, firstly, I'd like to cover, and then we will cover for other students as well. So if you are a student जिसने अभी तो कोई projects नहीं बनाया and you're about to sit for an internship or about to sit for an interview. Internships के लिए people start sitting in their 2nd year, 3rd year and final year. So 2nd year के तुम हो और तुमने सिर्फ DSA किया और अभी तो कोई प्रोजेक्ट नहीं किया, तो सबसे बेस्ट क्या होता है ना कि 2nd year या 1st year में हमने ऊप्स पढ़ा होता है। तो ऊप्स के कॉन्सेप्ट लगा के यू कैन मेक अ प्रोजेक्ट लाइक अ लाइब्रेरी मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, लाइक अ हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, कुछ भी बनाओ, बट ऊप्स का concept laga ke chalo. That would be a very beginner project. I'm not saying that it would be a very advanced project, but that would be a project about which you would be having a knowledge. And if an interviewer throws any kind of question, you would be able to explain that particular thing. So oops के ऊपर try करो कि एक project बना लो. अगर कल तुम्हारा interview है, परसों तुम्हारा interview है, and you don't have any projects in hand, oops के ऊपर एक project बना लो. That would be very much beneficial, because having something is always better than having nothing. Now coming to people who are like very much into web development or Android development or another things like machine learning and data science, what I would suggest is कि it's not compulsory that if you are like into very much into web development, you have that proper understanding that if you have any question regarding that project, you are able to answer. So it's not needed. Many students get the FOMO कि दूसरों ने बहुत high-fi level के project बनाया, तो we should also make that. Don't think in that sense that if others have make, I should also make. Make a project like a medium level project, like you can make a clone of any website, you can make a clone of Amazon, Netflix or anything, you can make a weather app, you can make a COVID tracker app, like you can make projects like this, but be 100% sure that if any question is being thrown from that particular project, you are able to answer. Because in an interview, yes, you can impress the interviewer at the very first go that he or she has made a very high-fi level of project. But when a question is being asked and you're not able to answer, that whole impression gets to zero. So don't be in a FOMO ki I have to make a very high-fi project. Make a medium level of project, but be sure about what all things are being done. Also, one thing I would like to add कि हम लोग basically क्या करते हैं, I myself did कि we follow a playlist and at the end of playlist we have a project. So whenever you guys follow a playlist and at the end of playlist you have a project, try to code along with the playlist. Don't कि मैंने सारी playlist देख ली and at the last I just copy the code and I just paste it on the like GitHub or anywhere. Try to code side by side. तो उससे क्या होगा ना कि even if you are getting the theoretical knowledge, you would be also getting the practical knowledge. And at times you can also experiment by other things which is not being explained in the playlist or not being explained in the video. So always try to code along with side. You can divide your screen in two halves and you can play a video at the first half and you can try to code in the second half. So in that way your many of the doubts would be solved. You would be a good programmer and you would be knowing that why you are doing this thing. So don't try to copy paste code, please. It's my request, because copy pasting is something that interviewers catch at the very first go. So don't copy paste the code. Try to practically implement that project. That is the reason I'm saying that don't make a very high-fi project which requires 3 to 4 months of your effort. Try to make a medium level project in 1 to 1.5 months, but have a practical knowledge about each and everything what you're doing in the project. Over to you,
Yes.
Rahul.
Yes, that is actually a one thing. Like even I have personally seen many students try to perfect. Like, okay, we will build the perfect project at the end of the year, and with the aim of that, they never do any project. With actually like it's like you don't have the perfect, but you don't have anything at all. That's like one mindset students have these days. Yeah. Also, there is one question that was asked, like, does the having recession in tech field will harm your placement?
See, like being very honest, I would say yes, it harms the
Okay.
placement and it is harming the placement. Why to lie? Because I've seen many students who are my juniors as well that they are asking me that the I can't see openings at any of the places. I can't see any of the companies hiring. Even if the companies which are hiring, they're firing at the same place. So is it
Yeah.
safe to join that particular company and many more things? See, recession is something that we all need to accept because this is something which is a dark time for the industry as well. And many of the companies, like multiple companies, the companies which are dream companies of many students are fighting at the same time. So, see, recession is there. It is a true fact. But I would like to say that in this recession period, what I have seen, like many of my friends also got laid off. It's not like I am not seeing different people being laid off, but I have seen that many of my close friends are being laid off, and I can understand the pain that one person is facing, because kind of like you are a dependent on you are like your family is depending on you for some expenses as well, and you are at the same time being laid off from a company. That is a very harsh thing which is happening to you. But in this recession time, what I have seen is na, that there are many startups which have been very active and started hiring at a very high level. Like I have seen that my friends who are getting laid off are getting job in 1 to 2 weeks only. Like on the day they are getting laid off, they are putting a LinkedIn post and they are just receiving calls on the very next day. And within 1 week, they are at least getting a job at a good startup. So see, I can feel that thing that many people wants to get placed into their dream companies. Some people want to get some higher CTC. I do agree with the fact, but what I can say is like there are many startup companies which are hiring and which are coming into play. Middle age startup companies, like there are many startup companies who are having 20 to 50 employees, but they are willing to hire great talents. So it's not like that ki if some of the mang companies are not hiring, like none of the companies is hiring. You just need to be very active now. Like if you were active 1 year earlier, like just thoda bahut active the, but now you need to be more active on social media and different job hiring platforms. But yeah, there are companies, startup companies, which are hiring at a very good scale. So you can't say that there are none of the companies which are hiring. Yes, I can agree to the fact that amount of companies which were hiring earlier has now been reduced to like 60%. But yeah, there are still companies which are hiring. But you need to prepare well, because now you can see that if if earlier 100% of the companies were hiring, the competition was a bit less because many of the students were applying to different companies. But now since the companies have been reduced to 60% companies which are hiring, you need to be like very much skilled and you need to enhance your resume at a good scale so that you get shortlisted at these companies.
Yes. Also, now since we're talking about the placements and preparation for the companies, like there are many students who gives interviews and they do not get selected, so they get demotivated for that. So, how to regain the lost confidence during the placement and for the preparation as well?
See, Rahul, I totally agree with the fact that if you get rejected in an interview, that is the worst feeling because I have applied to hundred of companies, I guess, and I guess I have been rejected from 30 companies. Yeah. 30 companies, yes, I guess. Like there were many companies which rejected me at the very first place, I can say in the resume shortlisting. At the many companies, I was rejected because I was from a tier 3 college. And this is a fact. Even if anyone says that tier 3 college doesn't matter, I have been from a college which had like no placements, and I can say that it matters. How it doesn't matter? It matters. At very places it matters, but yeah, at very places it doesn't because at that places you have been judged by your skills, not your college tag or not
College.
your tier 3 college tag. Yeah. So there are places at which you can like even if you're from a tier 3 college, you can go ahead and apply. But there are places that at the very first go they put an filter that if your college is mentioned in this list, you can just go ahead and apply. If not, there's no option. So yes, getting rejected is the worst feeling. I totally remember that when I started my preparation, I started giving interviews, and by God grace, I don't know, I qualified each and every interview which I started giving at the very first go. But I gave Amazon interview for internship, and I remember like this was till date it was my best interview which I gave. Like it was the best interview, and I remember when I gave that HR round, I was so pretty happy because the HR was also happy, and I was so happy with the fact that I would be selected. And I told my parents that now I am getting an internship at Amazon. Now I am very happy, and like this level of confidence I had with my interview. And guess what? At the very next day, I received a mail that I haven't been qualified. So at that particular day, I had a breakdown, and I didn't know that what to do next. I was demotivated to a level that I thought that everything is waste. Preparation is waste. Preparing so good is waste. DSA is waste. Like I thought that everything is waste. But on that particular day, my father told me one thing, and that hit me very well. Like he told that every failed interview is a great learning experience. So that particular thing made me rethink about the fact, okay, if I am rejected here, it doesn't imply that I'll be rejected everywhere. Every failed interview, at least I'm gaining something, at least I'm getting some knowledge, at least I'm knowing my preparation, that I have prepared this much, या मेरा इतना preparation था, या क्या चीजें लैक की, इंटरव्यूअर का फीडबैक मिलता है, उससे आई कैन बेटर माई सेल्फ. सो if you're not qualifying any interview ना, टेक इट एज अ मॉक इंटरव्यू. कि मैंने एक मॉक इंटरव्यू दिया, मुझे पता चला कि मेरे पोर्शंस ऐसे कौन से हैं जहाँ पे आई एम नॉट कॉन्फिडेंट इनफ. मुझे पता चला कि क्वेश्चंस कैसे पूछे जाते हैं कंपनीज में. मुझे पता चला कि पैटर्न कैसा होता है डिफरेंट कंपनीज का. और मुझे लाइक बहुत कुछ नॉलेज मिला. इवन इफ आई फेल्ड टू क्वालिफाई दैट इंटरव्यू, I myself is getting a better person, and in the next interview I'll try to avoid all that mistakes which I did in this particular interview. So every failed interview is a learning experience. So if you are failing or if you are getting rejected in an interview, don't get yourself demotivated. Try to work on yourself, try to make yourself more better, try to like after any interview happens, just sit 1 hour ideal and just start recalling everything which happened in that 1 hour interview, so that you would be knowing that okay, this was the thing where I missed, okay, this was the thing where the person told me that this particular approach could work. So always try to take out some time after your interview and try to rethink that what all happened in an interview. See, it's not necessary that you qualify each and every interview you give. One needs to one needs to take up the failure as well. So it's not important that every interview you sit you qualify that interview. But yeah, you can take some learning from that interview and go ahead. Life is very long. Like one interview can't judge your capabilities and your skills.
Exactly. It's always giving one interview gives you the experience, what will can be asked in the next interview, and you can always improve yourself. And also, having the background of the tier three college does not actually matter. So it does matters. It just makes things easier a bit. But at the end, it's like your technical skills and abilities. So since we are talking about the resume, many people are very confused about how should be a resume and how to write a good resume, what content should be there, and like people don't have the experience, so what should they write? They have built several projects, so should they list their project first, or should they list their education first? I mean, overall, how should be a good resume, and what makes a good resume apart from a like a bad resume?
Okay. So, Rahul, what I have seen is in nowadays there is a term called as ATS, and everyone says that your resume should be ATS friendly. So, what does ATS does? So, in ATS, what happens is na ki if a company is hiring, they have some certain skills given in their job description that we want someone who is skilled in Java, skilled in web development, skilled in React, skilled in Node.js. So they put that keywords, and if any of the resume qualify that keywords, that resume is sent for shortlisting. And there are many other criteria. I'm not saying that only this criteria is there, but there are many other criteria like this. I'm just giving an example. So always try to make your resume, which is like I have seen that many of the resumes, there is some photos, there are some
Yeah.
details which is not mandatory for an interview. There are some things which is not needed for like interviewer to know, like your interest, that I play badminton. It's something that interviewer himself will ask or herself will ask that what are your interests. You don't need to explicitly mention it in your resume. So a format which I always follow is start with giving a one line note about yourself, that like I am an aspiring web developer, I am an aspiring software developer, and I am an aspiring, like something like that, one liner about yourself. Then coming after the education section, what I love is mention your work experience. Why mentioning your work experience is important? I know that some of the people haven't done any of the internship, so they can skip this particular section because it's not always important to do an internship for an interview, but it's always important to have some projects. Because see, in internship, what we do, in my 6 months of internship in Walmart, I worked on a project. So basically, on an internship, you only work on a project. So if you don't have any of the work experience, if you don't have any internships at anywhere, you can skip that section. It's totally fine. But have that level of projects, or that level of like projects, which interviewer would be very happy ki, okay, let's just forget the fact that this person hadn't did any of the internship, but this person is having a great project. So the second one is work experience. In your work experience, you can mention the company where you have interned. Some people also mention the companies where they have did the training, like training in C++ from this particular education or from this particular institution. So trainings, please do avoid, because training is, this is kind of you are learning from an institution about C++, Java, or Python. It's not the kind of training, right? Training is something that like work experience is something that if you have learned anything, you have applied it anywhere. So in work experience, you can mention your internships. Then coming after work experience, always mention your projects, because in work experience you have did something. So you would be having a report of that particular thing called as projects, or like if you have worked on a project, you would be having a project section. So if someone is reading your resume, so he's seeing the work experience. Okay, she had did an internship at Walmart. Now coming to projects, she had this particular project in Walmart. So in that way, your work experience section wouldn't be very much long, and it would be like in a good manner. So you can start with education, then work experience, then your projects, and then in the second column, you can go ahead with the skills. So in the skills also section, like many people give skills, like they have did 2 hours course of Python and they are mentioning Python in the skill. Please do avoid that, please. In anything in which you have 100% of confidence, please mention that, because you never know. If you are mentioning a machine learning and someone asks you a machine learning algorithm and you have failed to answer about it, it doesn't make any sense to mention that. So rather than mentioning 20 skills, mention 5 skills, but be at least 80% sure that if any question is thrown from this particular thing, even if I'm not able to answer, I would be able to say something about that particular thing. So in the skill section, don't mention everything. Don't mention anything which have like 2 hours of React and 3 hours of React. Don't mention that. If you have done some good projects in React or good projects in Node.js, then only mention that. So in the skill section, be very careful that what you want to mention. Now coming with the coding profiles. So if you're someone who is aspiring for a software development engineer role, so always do mention your coding profiles, your GitHub links, so that someone would be interested well aware that how you are in coding, how you are in open source, everything. And even if you haven't done any of coding, or like you don't have any of the projects in GitHub, I'll always ask you that before an interview, try some questions and put that particular link. Even if you are at hacker rank, put the hacker rank link, but do mention the coding profile links, because in software development everywhere it asks about something, like they wanted to know, the interviewer wanted to know what is your knowledge in coding. And at the very first go, he would be only going through your resume and then only knowing that how much questions you have solved. So always try to mention the coding profiles and open source contribution. And at the very last, you can mention your achievements. So if you have done anything like achievements and co-curricular, so in that co-curricular section, if you want, you can mention your interest that I love playing badminton and I have been a state level player in badminton. So like in the co-curricular section, I would ask you, like even if you are volunteering for any of the college programs or anything, you can mention there. But don't make a separate column like interest or volunteers. Like don't make a separate column, just mention it in the achievements and co-curriculars. So this is a pattern which I always recommend everyone to follow for resume, like a better resume, you can say. And there is always a scope of improvement. So what I'll say is, whenever you prepare your resume, ask someone to review it and always take the review comments and better your resume.
Exactly. Like as for I've heard, like for the fresher, the resume should be one page, so you have the limited area. So it should be something which is valuable, not wasting like I'm a swimmer or something. Also, speaking about experience, like I have seen these days there is some things going on, the virtual internships, and some people who have worked in a different field, but they are now trying to switch into uh, the coding field or the software engineering field. So should they mention those experience as well? Like there's one Microsoft Future Ready Talent internship, I guess. Um I've seen many people mentioning that as well, and people who work from the electronics background, people who work from the civil background, they have experience of 1 or 2 years, but now they want to switch into the software development. So should they mention those experience as well?
Yes, like Rahul, I agree with the fact that I have said that in the internship section, don't mention something which is called as training. But yeah, like see, if the work experience section is empty, right? You can
Yes,
go ahead with mentioning that I took the Microsoft Ready Challenge Student Challenge program and I did this things. Like I always used to say that in the work experience section, just do mention anything which you have something to say. That
something
like
worked on.
why I yeah, why I said that don't mention training in C++, because what you will say that I did the course of C++. After that, what you did? If you have made a project, if you have made a very good project, you can mention that. But if you haven't made any kind of good projects or haven't implemented that particular thing anywhere, don't try to mention it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing I was like to say. But yeah, if someone from electronics background or someone from any other background wants to switch, obviously the interviewer would be happy in knowing that what you have done priorly. So you should always go ahead and mention, but don't mention anything which you haven't implemented, you have only learned. So that was the thing I would like to say, that in the work experience, always mention things which you have implemented. Don't mention things you have learned.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Um, before going further and having the other questions, I would like to reveal a surprise that we have keeping for a while. Actually, we from the Knowledge Catalyst, and now it's Practical Knowledge. It's PracEdge, and there is a one video that I would like to share with you all guys. Just give me a minute. Can you hear me? Hello. Yeah. Sorry for that. My internet just froze. Um, I would like to share the video with you all guys. Or is it possible that you can share the video? Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but my laptop just froze. Uh, just give me a minute. Oh, um, okay. We will share that at the end. And um, before that, just wanted to let you know, people, that our brand name has been changed, and now it's Practical Knowledge. Uh, Now, let's going back to the questions. Since we have covered the preparation for the interviews, the resume part, there is one very basic question that no matter how many times you tell them, but still there is always this question: how to improve coding skills?
Uh, the best way to, like, I'll give just one line answer. The best way to improve your coding skills is to practice as many questions as you can. So, if you're someone who is just preferring a sheet and solving 180 questions, and you're then thinking that your coding skills has improved, yes, but so I always suggest it's for the interview preparation. But at the, like, if you're someone who is in third year, final year, or anyone, you can go ahead with solving as much as questions you can. So practicing is always something which makes you better with anything, either it be coding, either it be development, either it be machine learning, or anything. So just practice as much as coding questions as you can, so that it can improve your coding skills, as well as it can improve your problem solving skills. So practice as many questions as you can. Like, this is just a one line answer from my side.
And do you recommend some certain platform, like for beginner and the experience level as well? Like I have heard that lead code is not beginner friendly, but some others said like you should start with that. So what do you recommend on that?
Uh, I every time recommend lead code, because I think that even if it's not like, I don't think that it's not a beginner friendly platform. Why do people say that? I don't have a much idea about it, but I think that lead code is something you can start your coding journey with. So you can, like, just go ahead with lead code. It doesn't matter that if you're starting with, like, I can say that it doesn't matter if you're starting with any of the platform, either be it Hacker Rank, Hacker Earth, Code Forces, Code Chef, or Lead Code. It's just that the questions you're solving. So you can go ahead with Lead Code, because Lead Code has some beginner level problems, and it has a very great filter where you can filter out easy, medium, and hard questions. So I'll always suggest that go ahead with Lead Code. If
Yes,
you are a beginner, you can go ahead with
for
lead
the
code,
big.
because lead code, yeah, lead code also has some interview questions as well, and interview experiences. So that is very good thing you can like see in a platform.
Yes, and there is a very big problem um, to be consistent. Like people know they need to be do the coding on the regular basis. They need to practice. They need to build project. But like the one biggest problem students face is to be consistent because they kind of struggle to manage the college life and their personal life while preparing for the present interviews and all the stuff. So what would be the roadmap to how to be consistent in a busy schedule for this someone who is in college student?
Like I would like to say, see, I was like I had secured 9 CGPA in my college, and I was also able to do coding side by side, and I was also able to handle my personal life, like friends, family, everyone. So it's not an easy task. I think the people hype everything, right? So people hype that if you are in college, you can only focus on your college studies. If you are in college and you are doing coding, you can't focus on your personal life or other things. If you're giving interviews, you have to only do coding day and night. So it's not like that. It's all on your time management skills. Because see, like there are many people who manages time. Like I'm not saying that I am a good example for that, but I myself have managed my time. I myself have given personal time to my family members, my friend. I myself have did coding and done some great projects. I myself have prepared for placement. I myself was good at college studies as well. So it's not like that you can't be such person. But the thing is, I guess that people overhype things at many a time. So they're like a fear. Yeah, kaise hoga? We are in college,
Uh,
how to do projects. And if I am doing project, यार semesters के लिए time नहीं मिल रहा. If I am preparing for semesters, यार coding के लिए time नहीं मिल रहा. College offline mode में है. So like rather than giving these lame reasons, what I would say is just better your time management, because time management is something which would be helpful in like throughout your career. So टाइम मैनेजमेंट पे थोड़ा फोकस करोगे तो इट्स लाइक हर चीज हो जाएगी, हर चीज आसान हो जाएगी. नाउ कमिंग टू सेमेस्टर सब्जेक्ट्स, तो सेमेस्टर्स के लिए जब सेमेस्टर्स आए तभी पढ़ो. ऐसे अगर चाहो तो स्किप भी कर सकते हो. बट मैं तो लाइक आई वाज वेरी मच इनटू कॉलेज स्टडीज एज वेल, बिकॉज कॉलेज स्टडीज से क्या होता था कि मेरी आधी चीजें तो इंटरव्यू के लिए ऐसे ही प्रिपेयर हो जाती थी, लाइक डीबीएमएस, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, ऊप्स, कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क्स. तो मैंने कॉलेज स्टडीज पे थोड़ा ज्यादा ध्यान दिया और ये सारी चीजें ऑटोमेटिकली प्रिपेयर हो गई. तो ऐसा नहीं है, अगर तुम कहीं पे भी थोड़ा सा भी ध्यान दे रहे हो तो इट वुड ऑलवेज रिजल्ट इन समथिंग फ्रूटफुल. सो इट्स नॉट लाइक इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग 1 hour in web development and 1 hour in coding and rest of the time in college studies, everything would be fruitful. So what I would suggest is, if you are a college going student, you can just pursue your college studies at the very first half, then come have a break, go ahead, enjoy with friends, and then come back home and just keep at least 1 to 2 hours in coding, and then 1 to 2 hours in any of the development stuff or any of the project you are building on. So just try to manage time in this particular way. Yes, I do understand कभी कभी क्या होता है कि हम लोग जब इंटरव्यूज के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं या कहीं और अप्लाई करते हैं तो थोड़ा सा हमारा टाइम हैम्पर हो जाता है. एंड इट्स कभी कभी ठीक है, इट्स ओके कि अगर तुम किसी एक फ्रेंड के बर्थडे पे नहीं गए हो, इट्स नॉट अ वेरी बिग डील, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली योर करियर इज समथिंग विच वुड गिव यू the ultimate happiness, right? So it's
exactly.
okay to skip events some of the time for your studies, but don't compromise your study time for anything.
Exactly. Right. I mean, someone once said like the time is limited for everyone, and it depends like how you utilize it based on the priority. And also, what about the people who have don't have much time, like who the people who are in their final year or their the final semester? So what the path would you recommend for someone like there's if someone is in final semester, they have like probably 3 or 4 months left. So what would you path you suggest for the time management for with the college studies?
Uh, I would suggest, see, 3 to 4 months is something I can see that it's enough. If you're someone who is at a very noob level, I can assure you that at least you would be you would just switch from a noob level to an average level. तो अगर 3-4 महीने हैं हाथ में, तो just start. Don't like find reasons that I am very late. मैं अभी कैसे start करूंगा, मेरे को तो कुछ पता ही नहीं है. See, there are come all over internet. It's just you who needs to be proactive. Because see, I've seen many people who are like using Instagram. I'm not saying that it is bad. People are using Instagram, people are just hoping over the reels. If you guys find that time and hope over the LinkedIn jobs, then you might know any of the opportunity. So it's just only you. The change is needed inside you only. No one would ever like, एक दोस्त कितना ही हेल्प करेगा, हर अपॉर्चुनिटी के बारे में शेयर करते जाएगा, शेयर करते जाएगा, शेयर करते जाएगा. There would be a time that he misses sharing with you, so you might miss an opportunity. So for yourself you have to work hard. No one else would work hard for yourself. So just be proactive. If you are in your final year, you have very less time and there is a pressure from your family as well regarding placements. You yourself have a placement, like you have a pressure regarding placement, regarding semesters, regarding final year project. So what I would suggest is keep just utilize that 3 to 4 months in a very great way. Try to solve as many as I can't say that as many as questions you want to solve, but as many as variety of questions you can solve, because that would be very much helpful for your interviews. If you're going for any interview, do have a look through on all the experiences anyone has provided on the internet, that how their interview went, what were the question asked, how the interview was going through, how many rounds were there. It would be very much helpful. And always have a look on the what the current company is doing. Like if the company is working on cloud, so have a look on all the latest news of that company and just sit for placements. So just start with any of the coding languages. Same thing which I would suggest. If you have a good command on the coding language, just make a sheet that this particular topic I have to spend 10 days in array, and then I will switch to binary search, then I'll switch to graph, then I'll switch to trees, like these way. So try to make some notes that I have to spend 10 days on this. I'll be learning theory as well, I'll be practically implementing it as well in the coding questions and everything. So have a look through on all the topics in which you are weak. Try to spend more days in which you have a confidence that I can solve some questions on these topics. Don't spend more days. Like it's not that equal division of days for each and every topic. Do some division regarding like which are your weak topics, which are your strong topics, and then have a good project in hand. If you're someone is a final year and haven't prepared any project, go with the OOPS project, and then go ahead with core CS fundamental subjects, because coding is not something which is only being asked in the interview. Core CS fundamental questions like operating system questions, DBMS question, database management system questions, OOPS questions are also being asked. So as much as DSA plays an important, these particular core subjects also plays an important. So have a great look through on these particular subjects as well. And then at the very end, you can have a look through at all the internship experiences people have put on, all the interview experiences, and get a senior or get any person or get your friend to take your mock interviews, because that would be very helpful in your interview preparation.
Exactly, right. And that's for someone like for the final semester, like you should be utilizing your time very efficiently than others. Also, can you talk about like the specific path you followed for get to the placed in Walmart? Because you have cracked one of the really toughest exam, the Walmart exam. Was you have cracked it, and also what path you followed? What was your strategy?
So Rahul, for me, I started at least like in my second year end only. So at the like coming to the third year, the preparation was really good for me. So I did very much of effort in putting on more time to the preparation. Rather, I put on more time to the like what questions are being asked in that particular company, and reaching out to friends who have given this particular interviews, reaching out to people on LinkedIn who are in that company and knowing the process and everything. So I spend majority of my time in that thing only. So if you're someone who is having a like good preparation, you can go ahead with like searching for the jobs and getting yourself applied to the jobs. And if you're someone who is having some job offers in hand, always go ahead to connect with people on LinkedIn who are in that company and get to know yourself, that what that company does, what is the like package you can also know, and what are the interview questions these companies ask, and many more things. So for me, I had a good preparation from my second year only, and I gave many interviews. So for me, I didn't did much of the things during my Walmart like interview as well, and online assessment as well. It was just the like I was coding like daily, on a daily basis. I was doing like 5 to 6 questions. So that was something which helped me improve my coding skills. So this was the only thing which I followed during my interviews.
Yes. Do you do your coding on regular basis? Viewers practice on
Yes.
regular basis. And is there going to be any suggestions for someone who want to switch into this field? Because there are many students who from the different field. They see that okay, um, there are good packages in this field. So and they also want to, but they don't have the basic idea. They don't know how to start because they have in their education time they have studied something else. They have studied. They have from the different backgrounds. So for them, what would you recommend? How someone who wants to switch their career in this field?
Um, what I would suggest is don't just switch your career in the FOMO that everyone is in IT industry, so I should also be in IT industry. Only switch whenever you find that you are also interested in like doing software development. So don't switch in the FOMO that everyone is switching, so I should also switch because the pay is a bit high. Only switch when you think that you are someone who is interested in that big, because whenever you switch and you're not someone who is very much interested in the software development, ultimately you will lose confidence and you will leave the company. So don't just switch in a FOMO. If you're switching and if you don't have prior coding knowledge, try to get your hands dirty on coding. Try to solve as many as questions as you can. And if you are someone like who is switching and you have like some good knowledge about the core concepts, you just need to focus more on coding and projects rather than the core subjects. So always like be positive with the thought that I have seen like many of my friends who are from EC background, from mechanical background, who are in Walmart working as a software development engineer. And the only reason behind them like switching from a core company to a software developer company was they were very much interested into problem solving. So if you're someone who is interested into problem solving, there is no barrier in between. You just need to be skilled enough that any companies hire you. So just focus more on enhancing your skills. Don't just cry on the fact that you are from a non-tech background or you are from a non-tech branch. Like a non-tech branch, I won't say, but you are from a branch like mechanical, EC or something. You can anyway switch from that particular branch or that particular non-tech background to a tech background very easily if you have a proper interest in that particular field. Like if you have a proper interest in software development, if you have a proper interest in solving problems, so it won't be much difficult.
Yes. Thank you very much. And there is one thing like when someone is building a project and someone coding, they always have a question like, should they do it individually or should they do it in group? What is more effective?
um See, actually, for the group coding, I won't say much because, like, in my college, there wasn't any coding groups. There wasn't much people who did coding. Like, it was only 2 to 3 people who had their profiles on Code Forces and etc. platforms. So I didn't did the group peer programming, you can say, or the group programming any time. I was doing this myself. So I can't comment much on that. But like doing it myself, what was the benefit which I have seen is like if I want to give a contest or if I want to solve a problem at 3 a.m. midnight, I have the ability to do that. So I don't need to be dependent on other people to solve that particular problem or to complete that particular topic, because I have seen that many people in peer programming, they took a topic and they just decide that we will solve 10 questions every day. So if I want to solve 12 questions or 15 questions, I don't have a dependency on anyone that I shouldn't solve because I have told them that we will be solving 10 questions every day. But yeah, in peer programming, what is the best thing? Like I have seen that myself, I get stuck into many questions many a time, and then I need to hover much over YouTube and other tutorials or the blogs. But if you're someone who is into a peer programming group, there might be other person in the group who is very much well versed with that particular topic, or the person who knows that how to solve this coding question. So that will save a lot of time for you. So in that way,
Exactly.
like coding in group is beneficial.
And can you also suggest some of the platform? I mean, like you have already talked about it, like Code Chef and all those. But can you suggest some of the specifics one for where an individual can practice on the daily basis for the beginner, intermediate, and the advanced level?
I would prefer lead code over anything because of the UI, because of the detailed explanation. The conversation section in lead code is a gem. So if you are someone who is starting your coding journey, you can go ahead and solve your questions on lead code, because you can see that other people approach for that particular question. So there might be a possibility that you're solving the question in O of n square time, but there might be a person who has solved the question in O of n time. So you can filter out that particular thing. So lead code is something which I would suggest, even if you're a beginner, even if you are a mediocre level programmer, you can go ahead and start your journey with lead code, just because of the UI experience and the section of conversation and the section of comments and everything. Like the discussion section is a gem of lead code.
Okay. And also, there's one last thing I would like to ask. There are some people who are excellent in the coding and their domain, but they do lack some soft skills. It could be the communication. It could be the some people say English. So how much does this all matters in an interview?
See, to some extent, if someone who is from like a different region, we can say like someone who is from South India, he's taking in your interview. So there might be a possibility that they would be very much comfortable with English rather than any other languages or their regional languages. So at that particular point, yes, if you would be having a good command over English, you can express your thoughts in a better way. I can say, I wouldn't say that you can't express your thoughts, but you can express your thoughts in a better way. But mostly I've seen that if you're not very good with English, like, it's not true. See, even if I'm taking this session in English, at times I don't get words for something. So I use Hindi. So in that way, only your interviewer is also like very much like, you can say that whatever interviews I had, the interviewer made me very comfortable. So even if I'm not using English, even if I'm explaining my approach in Hindi, he or she was very much okay with that. So it's not important to have a good command over this, but yeah, sometimes it happens that people from different regions of India take your interviews. Like in my Google interview, it was taken from a person from, I guess, from like foreign country. So at that particular time, I knew that if I'm not able to express my thoughts in a better way, I would ultimately lose this interview, because the person wouldn't be knowing what I am thinking or what approach I am thinking. So yeah, in some interviews it do plays a role, but in some interviews the interview makes you comfortable, so you can use other languages as well.
Exactly. So it's like unless it's not necessary, if another person does not know the language, you should not hinder to express your
Yes.
ideas. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And the last but not least, how was your experience till now? Till now, you have given so many interviews, you have prepared so much. So how was the experience specifically?
Experience, I can say it was a bit overwhelming for me, because like in my intern as well, I worked on a project. In my full time as well, like I am about to complete 1 year at Walmart, and like I have worked at one project which was at a very high priority, and right now I am being switched to another project. So it's kind of like I'm working. So the knowledge gain which I wanted in the very start of my career, I am getting that. So I'm like very much happy with my work. Yeah, at times it's like we have to stay for a long for our work, and we have to just complete it before the timeline, so that days are a bit tough, but yeah, the learning experience is really good.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. That sounds awesome. And thank you very much for coming here. And thank you very much to the Knowledge Catalyst, which is now, by the way, is the practical knowledge PracEdge. So do not forget that, viewers. And to summarize all this event into one thing, practice your code. Practice your code on the regular basis. Do project, and do not worry about if it's like it should not be perfect. Make basic projects. Make as many projects as you can. And your resume. It is one page. Do not waste your page. Do not waste your space. Okay. Put the things that you know, because if you messed up in one thing, it gives the impression of like possibly you have added some more lies into your resume. If you can lie once, you can lie more. So only add the things that you are familiar and really good with. And with that, I would like to thank you very much for the coming here and sharing your knowledge and your experience.
Yeah, Thank you,
Thank you
Rahul,
very
for
much.
being such a nice host. I loved having the session with you, and I hope that most of the questions which you have is being solved. And mostly, if anyone faces any kind of problem, even after that, try to reach out to more and more people. This would be my last tip because, see, not everyone's whatever they say is always true, right? So it's not important that if I am saying that do this thing and it will help you to crack your interview, it's not always important that that thing would work for you. So always
Exactly.
have a variety of knowledge, always listen to different people, and then you yourself decide that what is the thing which would be working out for you.
Exactly. Not everyone's gonna the situation is gonna be similar. Everyone will have a
Yes.
different experience. Yes. Thank you very much for that. With that, I would I would like to say that with that I would like to end the session here. And if from our viewers, if they have any more questions, they can ask or they can go to our social media page and ask the questions there. Would you like to share your social media
Yeah,
if you
sure.
want
So
to?
you guys can follow me on LinkedIn. Actually, I have reached the connection limit. So you guys can follow me on LinkedIn. And if you have any doubts or queries, you can ask me on Instagram because the thing is my LinkedIn DMs are always filled. So it's very hard for me to reply to each and every DM. But you can ask me on Instagram or Twitter, wherever you want. And I would love to connect with you guys on another session as well. And it was great, Rahul, for you being such a nice host, and thank you all of you for giving me an opportunity to have this session and to interact with everyone and to answer some of the basic questions which were like which I also had doubt in my college years and everything. So thank you all for calling me.
Thank you to you too, and we hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, then bye all.